That's what she said.
Get your life together.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is our Kids on Bikes RPG. Welcome to Paradise, Michigan. This
New
is
overlay. Good job, Jake.
This is session 5, episode 5, entitled Paradise Found. And yes, it is a brand new overlay. Kind of moved things around a little bit, spruced it up a little bit. Given a little bit of prominent attention to the lighthouse here. I knew as soon as I did it, Jeremy. I knew as soon as I did it. I looked to your window. Everybody, look at my lighthouse. This is a good time to point out that this is a mature stream for mature audiences.
The segue is
to put air quotes around mature.
Never been better.
Maturity is a subjective term. But yes, this is our Kids on Bikes RPG, using the Kids on Bikes rule set from Infectious Play, Renegade, Game Studio, and Hunters. Good luck if you're trying to find a copy of this book, because apparently they're sold out everywhere. The physical copies.
Related to that, there was actually a second edition Kickstarter that went last month. So I'm doing research because I don't like playing games without having the book. So I'm prompting a lot of this.
The good news is, so I had meant to do that, to look into that, because I knew they were working on a second edition. So I will have to check to see if they have stuff available through BackerKit still, or keep an eye out for that, because my hope is that there's some rules clarifications and things that we can adapt into our game with that second edition. The other thing that I would like to point out is, if you look up above Tamiko's head and where M would be if M was here, you'll see that we got a bunch of domain pops up there. It's all one word, Jeremy, in the chat. It's domain dice, but it's all one word. So it looks like, oh geez, there's all kinds of stuff happening. What's going on? So I owe you a couple of those. So the way these work is, as you cheer 500 bits, as you tip $5, or if you subscribe, gift subs, all that good stuff, the players can earn these domain pops that also do these fun little animations when they get used. Currently, the domain pops function as a adversity token. The players can use them for as a +1. That's why the motto for terrain treats domain pops is +1 to fun. However, you in the audience and you the players should know, I am working on a table of 10 D10 tables that will have randomized effects that for those of you that play in our Call of Cthulhu games, you can use them against each other to cause random effects to happen. So that's something I'm working on to expand the use of those domain pops. Let's see. The only other thing I want to mention is be sure to tune in for some of our other shows. Tune in on Mondays for Scribes and Scrolls. It is a Pathfinder 2e adventure coming very soon. We have a brand new Pathfinder adventure, Sky Metal Iron Gods, coming every other Tuesday. Second Wednesday of the month is Lawlerville, our Call of Cthulhu game. And then, of course, Thursday nights you can tune in right here for Kids on Bikes. Welcome to Paradise, Michigan. The very last thing that I want to remind you all about is, of course, to remind you that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference, whether you believe it or not. It's true. There can be any number of reasons that you could be struggling. And we want you to know that it is okay to not be okay, but you do not need to struggle alone. At any time, you can come into our chat and you can type !help. And a couple of URLs will pop up. They'll also show up periodically at the bottom of the screen for findahelpline.com. It is a free resource. Or you can head on over to takethis.org. Check out their growing lists of resources. Go to those websites, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, it is time for me to welcome you to Paradise, Michigan. When last we left off, our young friends, the children here, were... Well, they'd gotten themselves into an interesting predicament, having been in the back room of the bookstore, going through some mysterious doors, emerging onto the beach outside of a lighthouse, although a couple of them wound up at the top of the lighthouse. You all began to investigate this lighthouse couple, Rosie and Jessica, taking a beat to touch sand, as it were, and just take a breath before going into some more weird stuff. Billy found a satchel with a brass spyglass, and also a folded up map that appeared to be an old aerial photograph of Paradise, Michigan, with several things annotated on there in marker, red X's, and various notations made on this map. By whom or for what reason is yet to be discovered. Also, while they were figuring out what to do, Rosie discovered a secret door that was obscuring a hidden trapdoor, a green trapdoor with a brass handle. Having not learned their lesson about green doors, they decided to open this one and discovered that it led into an inverse version of the lighthouse that they're currently in. And of course, these kids and teens decided, sure, let's go through the trapdoor. They went through, finding themselves in the same lighthouse, apparently, but at night while the storm rages outside. It is worth noting that while they were in the lighthouse, Laz was nowhere to be found. During a bit of a rush up and down stairs, a couple of people got turned into a tangle of limbs as they crashed down the stairs on the floor, and that is where I believe it was Oak and Jessica that noticed the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book that Laz had tried to steal at the bookstore was lying on the floor, and as the wind ruffled the pages, they saw Shredder and his Foot Clan facing off against the Turtles, but Shredder was unmasked, and there they saw Laz illustrated. Rosie opened up the door to the lighthouse in this mysterious inverted version, nearly getting wrenched into the storm and seeing, amidst crashes of thunder and lightning, a ship wrecking and crashing, battered in the surf of Lake Michigan, with what appeared to be bodies, living or dead, unsure, of sailors being washed ashore. And that is where we left off. Now, we are going to pick up in this story somewhere else. Somewhen else. Jeremy, would you please describe to us, what does Laz's bedroom look like back home?
So I imagine that it still has the wood paneling from, like the previous 20 years. The most of it, though, is like completely covered over by band posters and posters of concerts and events, probably several movie posters, the the typical kind of pan through in an 80s bedroom that we see a lot, in movies. He's got some of those like folding closet doors that kind of fold as you slide them out, and they have a track. One of them is out of the track and leaning against the wall. There's a dartboard that's been hung like on that panel, and it has several darts that are kind of all different places on it. His bed is on the floor. It's just a mattress, that's on the floor, and it's got like a comforter that's kind of thrown up in a kind of like a wad on top of it. The sheets are all disheveled. There's a nightstand that has probably several empty tab cans and things of that nature, empty candy wrappers and things kind of strewn about. There's a very large speaker, just one, that's kind of set against one wall. It looks like it's been rigged somehow to function with the stereo that's sitting on top of it, kind of slightly askew. And there's skateboard parts and drumsticks and the empty guitar case sitting on the bed, and clothing just strewn about all over the place. There's hardly any like open floor space at all in this room.
As is often the case for kids and teens, their room is their refuge. It is their refuge in the storm of teen and childhood living, the angst and emotions that go along with that. It is their refuge when things are a bit troubling, when the seas are being tossed in the homestead. The place where the home should be the refuge isn't always the case. Laz, when your parents have one of their discussions, and it starts as a discussion, it starts as a civil conversation, but over the years it's progressively gotten the escalation from discussion to full-blown fight has happened a lot quicker. What do you do when you recede to your room during these times? Do you lose yourself in music, books, something else? What is it that Laz does when the parents are at each other?
Yeah, I think the door to the bedroom opens and we hear the shouted conversation from down the hall, and it's impossible to pick out exactly what could have caused things to escalate to this point. But Laz enters the room carrying his dinner on the plate and cradling his, drink in the crook of his arm as he kicks the door to cause it to slam shut, and instantaneously the shouting is muffled, but it's not muffled enough. He just numbly walks over to his bed where he sits down, a little bit of his dinner kind of spilling out kind of onto his shirt a little bit, and he looks down. Fuck. He just kind of eats it straight off of his shirt and puts his plate on the end table next to his bed, kind of shoving some of the stuff out of the way onto the floor. And he goes over to that stereo and he grabs, a large over the ears set of headphones, and presses play, and all we hear is "Pour Some Sugar on Me" by Def Leppard as he slams these cans down over his ears, throws himself onto his bed with his back against the wall, and just starts chowing down.
And that's what we hear is the raging hard rock of the time, and the no doubt classic anthem now, that is "Pour Some Sugar over me, as that is the only sound, Laz. You're drowning out any other thing that is happening as you are eating. I need to know of your parents, because while you're drowning this out in the music, you cannot drown out your thoughts. You cannot drown out your subconscious. Is it one particular parent or both of them that you harbor the most angst against? Is one of them that seems to be the instigator, or both of them? What is it that's sort of playing in the back of your mind while this is happening yet again?
I imagine that it probably switches. There are times when it's his father's fault in his mind, and there are times when it's his mother's fault in his mind. His relationship with both of them is fairly damaged at this point, largely based on how damaged their relationship is. And I think this particular instance, though, it's probably his mom that kind of started everything. So yeah, that's definitely where his quiet but his seething animosity is probably nested in right now.
Laz, you are lost in the anthem of Def Leppard, eating your food. And so you are completely startled when you feel the rough jolt of somebody kicking your mattress to get your attention. You turn to see your mother standing there, wearing, I imagine she's wearing one of those sort of sweaters that's a little bit longer. It's probably a little too big for her. In the last couple years, your mom has the look of somebody who has lost more weight than is healthy. Probably because she, rather than eating, she's mostly drinking. And she is standing over you, despite her probably, I imagine your mom is probably a good 3-4 inches shorter than you are, but somehow manages to always impose her form over you. She's standing there with her arms crossed, looking down at you angrily, waiting for you to turn off your music or take off your headphones.
He just lifts one of the cans off his ear. Yeah?
Don't yeah me, jackass.
The fuck did I do?
I've been calling your name for the last 10 minutes. Take off the headphones so I can talk to you.
So you can yell at me.
Don't give me your lip.
What do you want?
It's 6:30 on a Wednesday night, and you're sitting in here eating our food.
As opposed to what, Janine?
Working. You still don't have a job.
No.
You're 15.
No, I don't have a job.
You're 15 years old. You need to get a job and start helping around here.
I filled out 3 applications last week. It's either that or I go to school. So
you do both, because you're sure as hell not going to fail school.
They won't put me on.
If you keep talking while I'm talking, I'm going to knock that look off your face.
Oh, please.
You're going to get more applications. You're going to find a job that starts. You get out of school by 3:30 every day. That means by 4 o'clock you can be working.
They won't put me on the evening shifts. I told you that already. They want somebody for the daytime. I can't work during the daytime if you still want me to go to fucking
single
school.
job. Every single job in this entire city. You're 15 years old, Laz. You can work at McDonald's. You can work at Dairy Queen. I don't care what the job is. You don't have to like it. She starts
Yeah, 'cause
moving
that
around
worked
your
out great
room.
For you.
She starts looking around at some of your stuff.
What are you doing?
How in the hell do you even find anything in this mess?
Because it's my stuff. I know where everything is.
It's your stuff.
Unless you
Did you
come
buy
in and
any of
fuck
this
it all
stuff?
up.
Where did you get all this? Who bought you that stereo? The headphones, the food you're eating, the blanket you cover with, the clothes you're wearing. Where does it all come from? Not you! Who washes it? Yeah, that's what I thought. You need to start helping out around here. Where's the guitar?
I left it at a friend's house.
You left it at a friend's house.
Yeah.
On purpose. You know, you could take that thing down to the pawn shop and you could probably get a week's worth of groceries for it.
I rebuilt that guitar myself, okay? I dug it out of the dumpster and I put it back together. You can't fucking touch it. You didn't buy it. That's not yours. It's mine.
What about all the comic books that we bought you? Where are those?
Like
She's actually
10 years ago.
kind of reaching, like trying to look in the closet, but it's all off its hinges and it's catching on the piles of dirty clothes. And you can see she wants to look in there, but she also doesn't have the strength and actually like the energy to do it. But you also notice as she kind of pulls on the door, she loses her balance a little bit, and you see that little bit of a teeter. And to no surprise, she's been drinking again. The comic books. We bought you comic books ages ago, and I've heard some of the kids down at work talking that sometimes those things are worth some money. Especially if you got some of the...
Are you kidding me?
No!
The comic books that are worth money are older than you are, Ma. Like, look, I don't have anything that's worth any money. Maybe you got shit you can sell. Maybe you could sell some of those bottles of liquor. They cost enough.
She takes 3 quick strides across the room and is suddenly standing directly over top of you, leaning down in a way that is forcing you to either hold your ground or push back into the headboard.
Yeah, he leans back against the wall, but he tightens his fists.
She puts her finger inches away from you. Don't take that tone with me. If it's in this house, I have a right to it. And if we needed to, we would sell it. You?
Yeah, I got it. Applications. I got it. I heard
You've
you.
got about 3 months of school left before the summer. And she turns and she walks to the door. And as she starts to head out the door, she looks at you and says, I don't know what you had planned for the summer, but you're going to stay with your grandparents in Michigan.
No.
All
No. That's
summer.
No, you can't do that, Mom.
I
No,
can,
look,
actually.
No,
You're 15.
I'll fill out the applications. I'll get a job before summer gets here.
If you
I
can
swear
find
to
a
you.
part-time job that'll let you work for 3 months, great. Come the end of May, you're on a bus to Paradise, Michigan. That's the end of the story. And she slams the door shut.
He gives like 2 middle fingers as hard as he can towards the door, and then he slams the cans back on his headphones, and he reaches over and turns the volume way up on the stereo.
Laz, you fall asleep to the sounds of Def Leppard. It's 1980 something. You got one of those cassette players that when it hits the end of the side, there's a little mechanical whirring, clicking sound, and then it auto reverses, plays the second side, and when it gets to the end, it rewinds or replays the first side. So it's just on a constant loop for you as you're listening to this music as you fall asleep. What is it that comes to your dreams first? What is the recurring dream that seems to start off your sleep cycle every night?
I think in his mind, it's pitch black at first. And then, like pinpricks of starlight, these little blips of light appear. But as each one of the next one appears, the one previous to it becomes brighter until it's an entire array of stage lights. And he hears the roar of a concert crowd kind of building into a swell as he finds himself on stage about to perform for thousands of people.
In this particular instance of this dream sequence, the stage, it's all the glory of the glam rock bands of the 80s and 90s. These way too big sets, hugely backlit, pyrotechnics everywhere. The support structures that go up around the stage to support all the lights are just as much a part of the aesthetics of the stage. Except in this one, this particular dream sequence, you're looking, as you're holding this guitar in your hands, you look down and you see that you are about 30 feet above the stage, suspended from wires, in what looks like the stage is designed to look like asphalt. You can see in the center stage, your mark that you're descending towards is a storm drain, a sewer cover. In the middle, you see the rough painted lines. The wind machines are already kicking up and blowing. The crews are on either side. They're getting ready to throw wadded up newspapers and stuff to blow across. You can see band members down below that are dressed as Rocksteady and Bebop, and backup musicians that are all dressed as Foot Clan. And you see the curtains beginning, or rather the lights beginning to come up as the music starts and you begin to descend on the wire. And as you start playing these riffs, you see the razor blade decked out gauntlets on your arms and the purple and your cape flowing behind you as you descend dressed as Shredder, and you land on the stage. And as you begin to strum on this guitar and you look forward, it's not a crowd that you see. There are two people in the audience, Lyle and Janine. And every time you strum the guitar, the wrong notes come out. You just hear this discordant sound. The band members are looking at you. Suddenly, the sewer grate rattles and flies open, and a figure emerges. The diminutive, hunched-over form of your nemesis, Master Shredder. And he turns to face you. And Master Shredder says in your mother's voice, "You'll never be good enough." There's suddenly a loud crash of thunder. And Laz, you find yourself in total darkness. Oak, you've just seen Rosie open up this door and hear the crashing of thunder and see the flashes of lightning, and all of you see sort of the others around you silhouetted, and you feel as if somebody just shoved you. Somebody shoves you to the ground, and you feel an oppressive weight as there's a person on you, kind of like when you got jumbled up in that mess and fell just on the other side of the lighthouse. And looking around, you suddenly realize in a flash of lightning that It's Laz who's laying on top of you, and your messenger bag is over his head.
Hey. Wait.
Laz rounds on Oak and swings at him. And as he does so, he screams, "I fucking hate you!"
Oak, I think, doesn't move from the punch. He's just there. And as you come to swing, you hit him. Like, I won't even say I move.
Jeremy, roll a I want you to roll a fight.
Attack.
I want you to roll a fight check.
Fight? Oh god.
Yep.
Oh, you're gonna fucking kill him.
I hope not.
He's just a baby. He's only 12.
Okay.
What's your fight die?
It's not too bad. D12.
Okay. And what'd you get?
So I rolled a 3. So that's not bad.
Okay.
Not as bad as it could be.
No, you have punched Oak in the nose. So Oak, you have just been punched in the nose hard enough to make your eyes water and cause a trickle of blood.
I just stand there. Like, I don't think I've ever been punched in the face. I think there's a moment where Oak's non-confrontational for the most part. I don't think he's ever really put up a fight before. And all of a sudden, this person who he considers a friend just, for one, comes out of his messenger bag. But then on top of it, the first thing he does is to punch him in the face. And so I think Oak falls back on his ass. And we're in the we're still in that.
You're in the inverted.
Space,
You're
right?
in the inverted lighthouse.
So he falls back on his ass. And he just feels the warmth of his nose. And then he looks up to you, and like his eyes are just watering.
I think Laz is like pulling the messenger bag like off of his head.
There's there's books and some of
right.
Oak's stuff is spilling out.
Yeah, whatever accoutrement were in there on top of all the things that I usually carry just has spilled out. There's like, trapper keepers and all the sort of things that like you would have in there. And I was gonna come get you.
Are we in the same room?
Yeah, you're struggling to hold the door open because you're looking out at the shipwreck. You haven't seen any of this.
Motherfucker.
This is all happening in that same instant where, to you've just opened the door into oblivion. Okay. There's thunder and rain, wind in your ear. You haven't even heard this behind you.
Gotcha. Okay.
But Billy and I did, right?
Coop and Billy did.
Coop looks at Laz and says, "You hit him. You hit him right in the face. He's littler than you."
Laz is taking the thing off his head and he looks down. Oh shit! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Look. Let me help you up, okay? He like comes over and tries to help Oak stand up.
So Billy would be going to help Coop as well. Sorry, not Coop. Oak. But like he would also be like looking to Laz like, where'd you come from? You weren't here a second ago.
I had no clue. I thought I was having a weird dream, like. Well,
you can still feel the feeling, that sort of warm feeling of the headphone cans against your ears. They're not there, but you feel like when you wear headphones for a long period of time and you take them off, you can still feel that sensation.
To like reaches up to like take them off and then realizes that they're not actually still there. Yeah. Last thing I remember, it was going through the door at the weird long hallway at the back of the bookstore.
Which you now notice, Laz, you are in some kind of a room at the bottom of a set of stairs, and Rosie is struggling to hold open a door, and you can see that it is nighttime. There's wind blowing, rain is streaming in, lightning is crashing. Rosie, if you want, you can make a brawn check to try to close the door.
I would love to. Here I go. It is a D12. Here I go. I got, a 4.
That is not great.
Help!
So...
Help me! Nope. Saving them. God bless. Good idea, but I refuse.
Have you ever seen that one of those viral videos where the little girl goes up to grab the door?
Yep.
And it's windy, and suddenly the door opens and this little girl just gets... You watch, all of a sudden, the door to this lighthouse is flung wide open, and Rosie, you are flung outside with the door to slam into the side of the lighthouse. And I'm going to need one more brawn check. I want to see if you can maintain your hold on this door. I'm checking a couple things here. So give me a brawn check.
Okay, that one is better. That's a 12. Now I didn't explode because I just got the 11 on my D12.
11 with the bonus.
My bonus 1, yeah.
Okay. So you manage to actually hold onto the door. You slam into the side of the lighthouse with enough force to bruise your shoulder, but you manage to hold onto this door and your feet kind of drop to the ground, except now the door is fully open. You're in the midst. You are immediately soaked from this heavy downpour, and you still see crashes of lightning with the thunder just... And you see as this ship, you catch a sight of what looks to be a 2 or 3 mast ship rising up on a wave, and you hear not a crack of thunder, but the crack of the entire bow of the ship snapping in half, and part of it tumbled. It seems to twist and tumble to the shore, and you actually see some of these figures that landed onto the beach. You see them scrambling, and you think they got out of the way, but you're not sure, as the wave and the bulk of the ship crashes onto the beach. And keep in mind, this is happening like 50 feet away from you.
Oh my god.
And I reach out for Rosie's arm and try to pull her inside.
As you all suddenly can now see the same thing that Rosie just saw. And I would like Coop, Laz, Billy, and Oak to make brains checks, please.
I exploded. 10.
Nice.
Okay. 2 for Laz, 13, 18. So Laz, you're taking an adversity token. Also, Carrie, you get an adversity token for your failure. Laz, it's not surprising you don't notice this, because just you're super disoriented. Talk about waking up from a nap and not knowing where the heck you are. But as this happens and you look around, Coop, Oak, and Billy, Jessica is nowhere to be found. She was just there. She just came through the trap door, and you, Billy, had to help her through because she had gotten stuck in that space between the gravitational pulls, and you had just pulled her through, And then the door opened, and then all of a sudden Laz was there, and in all the commotion, Jessica isn't there. Oak, where you're sitting now, because you sort of dropped back on your ass when Laz punched you, you see that orange cat that you had seen through on the other side that wasn't the same cat. I'm trying to remember which one this was. Was this one Dwight, or was it the other one that was Dwight?
This one's Dwight.
This one is Dwight. The other one is
Side note.
Shorts.
Shorts.
Commendation to all of you for how closely you are keeping track of all these cats.
Oh, trust me, I have.
Get
have
ready.
A log.
Get
I have
ready,
a
because
log.
there's another cat. Because
Oh my
Oak,
God.
you notice that next to the cat Dwight, now is kind of doing this thing where there's like squinty-eyed looking towards the open door, just sitting there, fur blowing back in the wind. There is a white Persian cat with a pink collar and a name tag that you can't quite read. Well, actually, where you're at and with that 18, you can see that it very clearly says Jessica.
Uh-oh.
Laz? Oh God. He kind of holds his nose. No, hold on. He wipes the blood. He realizes he's like bleeding, right? So he's like, he goes to his messenger bag and he pulls out like a set of tissues and he just like.
You don't even have to pull them out. They're just laying on the ground where everything's spilled out.
He grabs a couple of tissues and just jams them in his nose. And then he like turns to look at this cat, and then like holds this cat up, and kind of like squints a bit. I don't know if it's because how hard you hit me, but and he turns the cat around. Does that look like a Jessica to you?
If a cat was capable of giving this expression, this cat, the expression you see on its face is, could you not?
Jacob, have you never met a cat?
I was gonna say, isn't that what cats do all the time?
All the time.
I think I'm the only non-cat owner here.
I
Meow.
Why is he holding?
As you're holding that cat up, Billy, if you want to, you absolutely can try to help Rosie come back inside. What?
Flailing in the wind.
What I will need is a brawn check from both of you. What's your brawn die, Billy?
D8.
Okay.
Well, I have a total of 6.
And Rosie?
Am I doing a brawn too?
Yes, you're doing brawn as well.
Okay, I apologize.
Only if you want to come inside.
Oh, it exploded.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I got a 22.
Okay.
Jesus.
And
So-
Rosie becomes the Hulk.
So, because you got a 22, this is going to fall into the plus 10 or higher. The character succeeds smoothly and easily. Likely it looks like the character is just showing off, or that the task is done so readily that it happens without any effort at all. At the GM's discretion, and certainly not necessarily, there could be some unexpected positive result from a success of this degree. In this particular case, Rosie, you can narrate how, despite getting caught off guard, you are able to get control of the situation and not only get yourself back in, but not need Billy's help.
So I imagine Rosie is kind of like hanging onto this handle of this door for dear life, kind of very much like the girl who is like flung to the side of the door, but like she kind of is like panicked for a second seeing this ship snap in half, but then she like pulls her legs up, kicks off of whatever wall this went like whapped against. So the door swings back, she like flips inside almost, and the door just shuts behind her, and she's just standing there like wet and like soaking wet. She goes, well, we need to get out of here. Now, preferably. And she would just kind of like look around, kind of a sight at this point. Just be like, where's Jessica?
Meow.
You're fucking kidding me.
I wish I was. I'm pretty sure I'm living a fever dream right now.
All of you.
Is there anything I can do for Oak's nose?
I mean, I shoved some like tissues up there, and it's gonna stop bleeding. But he's like holding
Rosie
his head.
gets into her backpack and pulls out a tampon. She goes, "Here you go, kid."
Oh God.
And she would shove it up his nose, probably a little too hard. There you go. Just leave it up there for like 10 minutes.
I'll be honest, I've never had to deal with that before. This feels real weird.
Yeah, it's okay. It'll stop bleeding. Like I said, 5 or 10 minutes.
All right.
Wait,
Yeah.
where in the fuck are we?
Jeez, I don't know. Did anybody see like 30 guys die out there just now?
I mean,
Would I have seen the ship from where I was sitting? Or
when
no?
the door
was open?
got fully flung open, all of you saw this big ship getting ripped apart.
Just ripped apart, right? Just shredded.
yeah, no, I saw it, but I'm gonna be completely honest. Again, multiple things happened at the same time. Laz came out of comic book. Okay.
Speaking of which, can I pick up the book and flip to the pages where we saw Laz inside of,
Yes.
There's no comic book. You look through the messenger bag, you look on the floor of everything that's spilled out. In fact, I would say, Billy, what you see instead, when you reach for what you think might be the comic book, is you see the book whose name I forget the exact title of, but it's something along the lines of Strange Tales and Oddities, the Michigan Dog Man. I think Tomiko has the actual exact title of the book.
Well, in my diligence of looking for the comic, I will also be helpful and pick up Oak stuff and put it back in the bag. The book's gone. But
Wait,
Laz, we saw you in a comic book.
the book's gone? Oh.
Strange Tales and Otherworldly Stories, featuring the dog man on the cover.
Somebody else is going to pick that up. Laz,
Oh yeah.
Billy is going to leave that there.
Oak will grab that. When Oak's kind of comfortable, I mean, he still looks just like you just punched him square between the eyeballs.
Poor kid. He's gonna have black eyes. Like,
Yep.
God.
That's cool. That's cool. I will live with it. Don't worry. And he looks to you, Laz. I was gonna try to come get you when we figured out where the hell we were. But dude, you were in a comic book.
Look, it's I don't know exactly how you're pulling all of this off, but and it's real funny and everything, but
No, I'm not joking. You was in a comic book.
You were on the cover too. They censored your swears.
That's the best. I couldn't even make a lineup better than that. That's the best.
They censored your swears.
look, I was in the back of a weird bookshop with some weird ladies in it. They locked the door, and then we were in this really, really, really long hallway, and then we bust down that door, and I went through the door, and then I had the weirdest dream. Well, it was kind of like a memory and a dream, but and then now, what the fuck? What is that outside? That looks like
I know.
storm?
I was gonna ask about that, but
Are we still in the bookstore?
no, we're not still in the bookstore.
Laz, there's lots of weird going on. I don't even remember I don't even remember being in the bookstore. I walk through the door, and next thing I know, I'm in a lighthouse.
Rosie has been very unimpressed with Laz for most of this adventure, but when he goes, "You fucking think," you hear Rosie off to the side kind of go and just sort of like laugh to herself.
We went into a lighthouse. We went downstairs, and somehow we climbed through a hole that changed gravity.
Brother, look up. Just do me a favor. Look up.
He looks up.
You would see that like it's kind of like inverse, right? If I remember, it's the inverse of
Well,
what's
no.
below.
I mean,
Or no.
Now
no, because you're in the
We're
main
okay,
room
right?
of the lighthouse.
We're okay.
You
sorry,
away from the
look
trap
down,
door. You'd have to
right?
look
Like,
through the
down.
trap door.
You have to look down
Trapdoor.
through the trap door, right?
Yeah,
Look
Coop
down.
Okay.
or Oak shows you through to this trap door that's open,
I got myself confused.
and you get just a little sense of that vertigo as looking through the floor. You realize you're looking at not only an inverted version of this lighthouse. It seems to be daylight on the other side.
I don't remember doing any drugs.
As
I didn't have any drink.
Laz and Coop are damn it. Oak and Coop are the new Talmud and Thorgarn. Oh my gosh.
I'm okay with this.
Oak.
Apparently, it's a short character thing.
Yes, it is. They're the two-party dwarves. As
Tamiko, we're the dwarves in this party. I love
as
it.
Oak and Laz are looking through the trap door, and Rosie and Billy are standing by there, and there's also a couple of cats, one of whom apparently seems to be Jessica. Coop, I imagine just in the positioning of everything, you've sort of found yourself at the bottom of the stairs, and you hear from behind you the very distinct sound of footsteps coming down the stairs.
Oh, no.
I picture this. We see this scene as sort of moving away. The camera pans back away from looking through the trapdoor, and we see Oak, and we see Laz, and then we see the cats, and we see Rosie, and we see Billy, and then we see you. And as we pull back over your shoulder, we hear the footsteps, and we just see you kind of going and looking up the stairs as you definitely hear heavy footsteps coming down.
Coop's definitely peeking to see if he can see who's coming down the stairs, but he's doing so off to the side, no longer in the center, because we don't want to repeat of that.
After a moment, you see an adult man. Looks to be it's hard for little kids to judge age, but this looks to be somebody in their late 20s or early 30s. They're wearing a sweater, some kind of heavy pants, boots. They have a pea coat pulled up. They're wearing what looks almost like stereotypical to you now, but sea captain's hat. And they've got a pipe in their mouth as they come down the stairs. And as they come down and around and suddenly stop looking at all of you kids standing there. He looks at all of you, and those of you that weren't looking, you suddenly hear, "Was ist das Scheiße?" And that's where we're going to take our break.
Scheisse indeed. Yeah.
All right. Lot going on in the first half there.
You know, we're all a bunch of Michigan kids, or at least
Sorry, we're
German.
just a bunch of freeloaders. Oh, jeez.
Oh, sorry there, eh? We'll just head back.
We're gonna go back down the hole. Just
head back to the right side up.
We're just gonna close it like this, and then
Goodbye. Thanks.
So we're gonna go ahead and take just about a 10-minute break, and we will be back for the second half of this adventure. Please stick around, and we'll see you on the other side of the break. And we're back. And as you all stand there in the midst of this inverted lighthouse in the darkness, with a storm raging outside, Jessica's apparently a cat. Oak has a tampon shoved up his nose. A German man has just come down the stairs. It seems very surprised to see you all. Was ist die Scheiße?
I'm looking frantically at everybody, and I grab my bat.
English!
Sprechen. English. Sprechen English.
Frankenfurter? English.
Who are you and why are you all in here? Where did you come from? Why are you here?
Outside! There's a ship it broke in half! People are dying!
You see him kind of cast a nervous glance over to the door, and then he kind of scans around, and he looks over and sees that door sort of open and sees where the trap door is, and actually sees Laz and Oak looking in. Why is that open? Is that where you came from?
Yeah.
Yes, but people are dying outside.
I doubt very much that people are dying outside.
We just saw it. The door was open a second ago, and Rosie would look back to the door. Is the door closed still?
The door is closed. He starts walking past. He walks really close to you, Coop, where you're sort of pressed against the wall, and he kind of looks down at you, and he kind of blows pipe smoke in your direction as he suddenly turns, and he walks really close to you, Rosie, with your baseball bat, just kind of giving you a sideways look as he walks over to the door. I don't know why there was a bunch of children here in my lighthouse, but I doubt very much that you are seeing people dying outside. This is an exaggeration of the kinder mind.
There was a boat, top half broke off, and bodies fell out.
These are very detailed exaggerations, as you've been down here cooking up some sort of distraction, no doubt, to keep me occupied from my work. Why are you here? Who sent you?
Open the door and see for yourself, Arnold.
Where is the rebel base? Laz has kind of like positioned himself a little bit in front of Oak and Coop, between them and this guy, not really even realizing that he's doing it, but just kind of making sure that he's gonna be the first part of contact if he decides to come after them the way that he seems to be getting threatening. And Laz is gonna kind of put his hands up, almost kind of like to get his attention. Look, we've all had a really fucking weird day, okay? Now, I don't know what's going on or why it's nighttime here and it's daytime there and why we're not in the bookstore anymore, but where are we?
There are a lot of very strange words you are using right now, and I don't understand half of what you are talking about. There's no bookstore. And what I have you to have to answer to me is a very simple question. I need to understand this, and it is very important that you do not lie to me. Did you come through this door, or did you come through that door?
The trap door.
He indicates the trap door.
The trap door, the one on the floor, the weird one, the one that changes gravity.
Did you go outside?
I did.
He immediately comes over to you when you say that. and he gets really close to you. And he's looking you over, and he's... You were in the rain.
No shit. And I look down, and I'm still very wet.
Little Kinder, get away from that before you fall in. And he could just, without even a second glance at you, Laz, he just sort of pushes past you as he yells at Oak, and he reaches out and he slams the trapdoor shut. You've been outside. This one, she's been outside. You cannot go back through there right now. It would be bad. It would be very bad. If you go through that door right now, you've been outside. You! It looks right at you, Billy. You're wet too. You are outside.
I tried to bring her in.
It would be a disaster if you went through that door right now.
What do you
How?
mean? Why?
I don't have to explain this kind of thing to children. This is going to be far above your ability to understand.
I'm pretty smart.
Hey. You don't know our ability.
A smart
You
mouth.
don't know his ability to understand.
Try me.
I
Try
am
us.
incredibly comfortable in the knowledge that what is happening is something that would make your little kid brains explode in like goo coming out of your nose.
I'm gonna take a step towards him, point at Laz, and say he was just in a fucking comic book.
I don't know what is this comic book. What is a comic book?
Drawings.
Is that where you come from?
We're the ones with a suffering intellect.
Do you have any idea of where you are?
No, that's why we asked, where are we?
Yeah, like he said.
I will show you where you are. You must do as I say. And he's now standing back in front of the door. It is too dangerous to go out there, and it is too dangerous to go down there. For now, until the sun rises, we'll go up top. I will make for you some coffee or some tea or some hot cocoa.
Again, Laz kind of like steps forward. Look, I've heard all about people like you, right? And
What the hell does that mean, people like me?
You know, people like you who like, kids. But I'm going to tell you.
I don't like kids.
It ain't gonna
I
happen.
can't stand children. That's why I'm so annoyed that you are here. I don't even know how you got here other than the trap door. And whatever it is that side of the door that you come from, that they just let a whole roving gang of children run around unattended, is quite bothersome, and I don't really want to know what is going on there. If I had... I would prefer it.
We went into a bookstore, wound up on a beach inside a lighthouse.
Again, with the books, what is all this? Why are you talking about books so much? I don't understand what books have to do with the lighthouse.
Can I ask you a question? Humor me, because I'm a small child. What year is it?
That's a very strange question.
Right? I told you it'd be weird. But if you could humor me.
He glances over at the trap door. But it is not entirely unexpected. It is 1880 something.
That explains a lot.
In my notes, it actually says 1880X because we've been saying it's 1980 something.
That's incredible.
So it is 1880 something.
1880.
That is what I said.
I look at the way he's dressed. Are we all dressed the way we were this morning?
Oh yeah, you're dressed exactly in the clothing you've always had on.
Does his dress look absurd?
I imagine at your age you've seen pictures of like sea captains and lighthouse people and stuff. He looks like a man of the sea.
Looks like the fish stick guy.
Yeah, he looks like the Gordon Fish Sticks guy, except he's wearing a dark pea coat instead of a yellow raincoat. But I mean, yeah, his sweater looks like it's hand woven, and you can, at this close proximity, you can see that his clothes aren't clean. They're dirty and there's stains on them, and you can probably even notice that his face and his hands are sort of weather checked, and you would even notice he has dirt under his fingernails, like dirty fingernails. Look, I just want to make sure that you are safe, that nothing from out there comes in here and can hurt you. And I want to show you where you are. If we go up to the top, it is a lighthouse. You will be able to see out the windows at the top and see where you are.
Rosie kind of looks down at herself and is very still wet. And now that it's kind of starting to dry, she's also getting very cold. And she just kind of is like, I'm going up. I want hot chocolate. I want it now. And she just kind of starts walking up the stairs.
Lax just kind of mumbles to himself, "This is how we die." And he follows.
Nobody's going to kill you. At least not me.
The stairs might.
And does anybody not start walking up the stairs?
I take a moment, just a brief moment. I will walk up the stairs, but I take a brief moment to gather my things, and I take the little steno pad, and I've written a couple of things in the short moment that we've all been listening. I write in big, bold Sharpie print, 1880 something, question mark, exclamation, exclamation, exclamation.
Basic.
And then immediately, I will try to grab the camera and see if the camera, still, I don't know. Oak Brain doesn't know if camera will function in 1880 something. So immediately goes to camera and opens it up and sees if it will function on this side of the door.
Incredible. Great.
For all intents and purposes, all your stuff seems to be in good working order. The batteries are fine.
Hallelujah. My dad would kill me if it didn't. Okay, so...
You kind of flick the switch and you can hear that telltale... the whining of the flash building up energy and the little mechanical whir of the Polaroid as it engages.
So this
Everything...
is this is the video camera. So
the video camera.
Yeah, I was going to put the video camera on.
So seems to function.
Seems to function? Okay.
Yeah.
So as he's going up the stairs, Blair Witch found footage body cam movie.
Oh my God.
All right. It's weird. I know. Don't pay attention to what's in my nose. I got punched in the face today. First time ever. But we are potentially on another time, another place. There's this cool pirate dude. I don't know what he's about, but we're about to go upstairs and see what all this craziness is. Also, my buddy was in a comic book. He doesn't know that, but I'm going to tell him all about it here in a minute, and it's going to blow his ever-loving mind. I'm telling you right now.
And he's he realizes he can't do this backtracking up the stairs, and so he turns the camera around and is following all of you up the stairs.
As you're doing that, this man is behind you. You don't see this, but as we sort of cinematically we cut to through the viewfinder look of you holding the camera, as it's waving back and forth, we see him trudging up the stairs behind you. He sort of gives a look over his shoulder at the door, and then you all start heading up. And when you say the thing about the pirate, you just faintly hear behind you, "Das Kind ist Dummkopf." Keep moving up the stairs. What are you talking about? What are you even talking to? What is that?
Oh, that's right. It's 18 something. This, I don't know how. Y'all, I don't know how to explain this to him.
It's like oh God, I don't. Billy.
Okay. I know. Oh no. Y'all have the photo cameras, right? I imagine. I think.
I know what that camera is.
Okay, so this camera is like
it takes moving pictures.
It takes lots of pictures at the same time, and it allows them to move. If that makes sense.
I think it captures people's souls, actually.
Oh my God, Laz!
Laz, you say that, and you actually, you hear a little bit of a chuckle come from him.
Oh.
Okay, I understand. There's things that I don't understand, and that you probably don't understand about what is going on. Just keep going. Whoever was the first of you to walk up the stairs, Tira, damn it. Rosie.
Incredible. Yes.
You get to the top of the stairs and are immediately faced with a green door with a brass handle.
You know what? I'm gonna say it. I feel like we're due for a good green door. I will gladly go through this one.
You open up the door, and as you open the door, you see the top of the lighthouse. You see a set of stairs that lead up.
See? What did I say? A good, normal green door. Okay.
After a few moments, all of you are up in the top of this lighthouse. There is a... I forgot to mention that the illumination was coming from this lighthouse keeper has a metal, like a bullseye lantern. And as you get up to the top, he opens it up just a little bit to shed some light, but he keeps the light down low. And you notice that this Fresnel lens in the middle of the lighthouse is not illuminated, is not moving. The lighthouse is not lighthousing. But there is the windows all the way around, and periodically you see tremendous flashes of lightning, and you can hear the thunder. And you look around where Billy, just not that long ago for you looked out the lighthouse window and you saw Paradise, the town of Paradise in the distance. All you see are trees and hills, no buildings. You see barely a half mile, maybe in a quarter mile to the north, you can see the lightning reflecting off of a small inland lake, just a little bit away from the main lake. And looking down below in the direction of the lake, you can see that there are powerful waves washing the broken pieces of a schooner ashore.
I would point down there and I would say, hey, Herr Mac, you seemed pretty sure a second ago that there was no dead bodies in the water. That looks like a shipwreck to me.
First of all, my name is Heinz. Heinz de Gauner.
Ketchup?
I was just gonna say that.
What was his name?
Hi.
Like the ketchup?
How did I not think of that? All I saw was a German name.
My name is Heinz, and I have 57 ingredients. Yeah.
The bane of every DM everywhere is players immediately finding a way to make fun of their characters' names.
Let me ask you a question. Does your family own a tomato farm? Just saying, for when we get,
I don't know what is ketchup.
Oh, believe me, you are missing out. I'm sure there's a lot about your time that we cannot appreciate. One thing about our time is ketchup.
The one thing that I can tell you is there are no dead bodies out there. Look. Look. And he points.
We see bodies?
He points down where you can see the storm seems to be letting up a little bit. The waves are still crashing and washing the pieces of ship aboard, or pieces of ship ashore. But the lightning is doing that thing where it's rapid flashes for long periods of time, but you don't see like the big streaks and bolts of lightning. And in these prolonged flashes of lightning, you can see down below that there are about a half a dozen or so figures that are moving around. They appear to be moving to help one another. A couple are moving to help pick people up. But all of the people that you can see, they seem to be alive. They're moving around.
Well, where are they going to go? And Rosie kind of gestures around at the very not cityscape in all the distance. Like, do we need to, like, help them? Is that what you do here? Like, what do you... It seems like a lighthouse, but, like, there's nothing around it. What do you do here?
They're going to have to fend for themselves for the night. If they can make it through the night, it's just a few more hours until daylight. Then we can go and see how they are doing. But believe me when I tell you, you do not want to go out there right now.
Look, you seem to understand that there's some weird shit going on, and like it doesn't feel like you're telling us everything that you know.
And there's no hot chocolate yet.
Lass, he looks right at you. No, I'm not telling you everything. A bunch of children have suddenly shown up in my lighthouse unexpected, and I'm not entirely sure from where or when that you come. I don't know why you are here. And yes, there is some weird shit happening. There's a shipwreck happening outside, but take a look at that. I would tell you what it was if I knew, but I want you to look right there. And he points down at the shore a little bit further upshore from where most of the shipwreck is washing ashore. At this point, I need everybody who is looking to make a brains check.
Okay. Oh.
It's around this time Coop makes it to the top of the stairs.
I got a 6.
This is not a pass or fail check. This is oftentimes I'm using brains checks as perception to see who notices something. So it's less of a pass or fail. It's more of a who sees it. So I got Oak has an 11. Rosie has a 6.
Laz had a 2.
Laz has a 2. Got a 12. Coop, are you going to look out the window where everybody seems to be looking? Nope.
Nope. Coop's heavy breathing. He's not looking out any windows right now.
The only 2 people who seem to catch what Heinz is pointing at. The others of you, it's just that there's so much happening. There's trees that are blowing, the waves, the shipwreck, the people moving around. You're not entirely sure what you're supposed to be looking at. Billy and Oak, you see about 100 yards up the beach from where the ship has crashed, is starting to crash against the shore. You see a trail of debris leading up onto the shore, and you see very wide drag marks across, almost creating a trench through the sand up across the beach. And then you see where up a little ways on the sand dune, the dune grasses and the brush and everything is crushed and pushed aside, as if somebody took an excavator and just went through there. And the trail disappears as it's moving toward the lake, the inland lake that is about a quarter mile north, not even a quarter mile north of where you're at.
And that's where there's the, quote unquote lake monster.
According to your map, there's the lake monster annotation, yes.
Oh, sorry, it's exclamation points, not question mark. So it's definitively there.
It's definitive. It's a
By the map.
definitive
And
monster.
it's screaming.
Lake monster!
In all caps.
Oh my god.
But yes, Oak and Billy are the only two that notice this.
Okay. I think Oak is taking everything in with his camera. Like, he's getting POVs from every person in the room. Even Coop at the top of the at the top of the stairwell.
You-
Okay, we're all here.
You
Uh-huh.
probably see that, Billy is spending a little bit more time trying to glean some more details.
Mhm.
Like he pulls out the map to see how things correlate here versus there.
For the most part, the I don't know why I said video.
Because he's got a
using
camera
video
now.
camera.
Yeah, yeah, I'll think of it in a moment. Sorry, I am trying to find the map so that I can look at it.
The docs and info in our.
I'm looking at my
Discord.
copy of the map.
Oh, your copy must be special.
My copy is special.
And after
So,
Coop catches his
correction.
breath,
Correction. I was describing the inland lake as being north of you. It's actually directly behind the lighthouse, extends southward a little bit, but goes quite a ways northward. That inland lake is there. And the bluffs to the along the beach to the south correlate, but there's zero evidence that you can see in the lightning flashes that there's any kind of civilization where the town of Paradise to be.
Is there any in the lightning? Is there any indication of Smanton Island?
So that is South Manitou is what that actually stands for. That's S period and
Oh.
Manitou.
Okay, sorry.
In the storm,
Oh, God bless.
in the storm, there's no indication. Ted, where does Billy come from originally?
I would say he's whatever the closest city would be. Too far away, probably driving distance.
So but from Michigan.
Yeah.
So I would say then you will probably have an awareness of what Sleeping Bear Dunes is. Sleeping Bear Dunes has a legend that tells that it's where a mother bear and its two cubs were swimming across the lake. The two cubs were struggling, and the mother bear laid down to wait for them on the shoreline. The two cubs didn't make it, and where they died in the water, their bodies were covered with sand, and they became South Manitou and North Manitou Islands. And the Sleeping Bear Dunes are where the mother bear lies. So you would definitively know that means South Manitou.
Okay.
You would also know that the dunes are about 5. Oh, great. My headphones are dying. I should be able to make it to the end of the game. So the Sleeping Bear Dunes are about 5 miles north, which puts the islands about 7 miles north and west. So in the storm, it's not surprising that you wouldn't be able to see the island from where you're at.
Okay, so this is like an arrow indicating it's that way.
Yeah,
not so much there.
The image captured in this satellite photo didn't capture the island, but it's somebody's indicating there's some relevance in that it's further north.
Okay.
You hear the sounds of metal clinking as Heinz is sort of around one side. He is pulling out some metal cups, and you see as he pulls a small can that he uncovers, and he strikes a match and lights this can. It's some kind of based on the smell, it's probably some kind of animal fat. And there's some kind of a little contraption of a like stove thing that's suspended over this. And he pours some water from a jug into the cup and sets it up on this. Or sorry, check that. He has one of those old school looking coffee pot things that he pours the water into and starts heating it on there. And these are some dented up looking, there's 3 of them, dented up old looking metal cups that just look like little coffee cups. And then you hear this sound of this sort of shk, 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 shk. As you see, he reaches into a pouch and he pulls out a couple packets of Swiss Miss hot chocolate.
Oh.
That is decidedly not from 1880 something. They are brightly colored and look like something you might find in your own pantry back home.
Okay.
As he pulls them out and starts shaking them, and then opens them and puts the powder into each of the cups. And you even see the little dehydrated marshmallows in with the hot chocolate as he pours them into that. And after a moment, he pours the hot water into the mugs, and takes a single spoon and sort of stirs them up a little bit and says, "I'm sorry, I only have these 3 cups. You'll have to share, but the 2 of you," and he hands one to you, Rosie, and one to you, Billy. You're probably needing this the most, and hands you each cup, and then he sets the other one on the windowsill.
But wait, those what did you say it was? You said like 1940s, is something like that?
I said it is the 1880 something.
1880s, so that's like a really long time ago. Look, but those look new. Like, you know, like our time new.
What time are you from? I did not ask this.
1880. The lightning crashes outside.
You mean 1980?
1980s.
Sorry.
1980.
Rosie takes that's awesome. Rosie takes a sip of the hot chocolate and then takes one more sip and hands the rest of hers to Coop.
So you are from 1980.
What?
I hear a feedback loop. I'm not
That's,
sure.
100 years from now. Very interesting. Oh, you said you came.
Very surprised.
You came through the trapdoor. You think I don't know what the trapdoor is?
Have you had other
Place where you-
visitors?
Get hot chocolate.
I've been through the trapdoor before. I will say that. It is supposed to be locked and sealed behind the false wall. Of course, it is a bunch of children that would find their way into a hidden secret entrance. I will say you are not supposed to be here, which is quite obvious. And yet, here you are. And I hope it eases your mind, and there is sort of driven into one of the timbers that forms part of the framework inside here. There's a nail. Hanging from this nail is a relatively new looking leather satchel. And he reaches into the leather satchel and he pulls out a shiny new brass spyglass. And he's looking down even closer at the beach and kind of scanning across the wreckage. It's very hard to tell in the dark, but it looks like everybody is alive. Shh. Look, over there. And he points you in the direction of where Paradise would have been, pointing you in the direction of the east. And as you look out that way, you can just see the first colors, the first line of light to the east as the sun is just beginning to rise. It won't be long now, and it'll be daylight.
And then it'll be safe to go back through the hole in the ground?
No.
Why?
It will be safe to go outside and to check on our unfortunate ship's passengers down below.
Why can't we just go back through the trap door? It's cryptic as shit. It's very bad. What would happen?
I will be honest with you. I don't know. But I have seen others that have attempted to pass back through the door. They have tried to take something from here, or they had gone into the lake and they were still soaking wet when they went through. What emerged on the other side, I will not speak of. It took me most of the day to clean up the mess.
Okay.
There's mysterious forces at work on that threshold of that door that even I don't fully understand. Now,
Okay.
we wait. If nobody has anything to say or talk about, he would just sort of stand there and periodically watch you all, glancing at the rising sun and glancing down at the survivors below.
So
that's not to say you can't talk. You absolutely can have conversations during this time if you wish.
I would take a look at the spyglass and the satchel that he pulled it from, reminiscent of the things that have been recently stuffed into my backpack.
For all intents and purposes, it looks like the exact same satchel and spyglass. You also have a compass in the satchel that you took.
Right. So I will pull out my spyglass and I want to look at the drag marks thing there in the dawn light that I couldn't see before. Dawn light.
The light eventually starts to... It's that time of day where, as the storm is passing and the sun isn't fully risen over the horizon, but it's mostly illuminating the cloud cover, everything starts to get lighter. And you can see very clearly that it looks like I said, it looks like an excavator ran up from the water, up through, and towards the lake behind you.
An excavator would not exist in 1880.
That is also true.
I'll point out the dig marks and the excavator marks to the group and see what they say.
I've seen marks like that when a pontoon goes up on a sandbar. I mean, if a ship came up and ran ashore here, it could create like a divot like that, I guess.
But it would be coming from the lake, not from sea.
Well, there's big ships on the lake. I mean, I don't know. It's my theory. And Rosie just kind of shrugs. Like, Rosie's very clearly tired. Like, this whole thing has been quite a day. And she's just sort of like sitting there kind of quietly and with her one sip full of hot chocolate in her belly.
Well, your all's time perception is dramatically skewed because it was the equivalent of around noon or so when you found yourself on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, what should only be like 1 o'clock in the afternoon is now apparently like 5 or 6 in the morning. As the sun continues its ascent, it's not long before it's bright enough to see by. And Heinz kind of pushes off from where he was leaning against the ledge by the one window, and he looks down. And he glances towards the lake. It seems like it is as safe now as it is going to be. I am going down to the shore, and I'm going to check on the survivors. You can stay up here, and you can watch from up high. Or, if you choose to come down with me, you will come down and you will go out the door of the lighthouse. I don't want to have to clean up what is left of you if you attempt to go through the trapdoor now.
Laz kind of hangs back if the rest intend on going. Laz is going to kind of hang back, and at some point he's going to kind of pull Oak, like by the arm. Hey, look, about your nose, you gotta, don't be in the way so much,
Yeah.
And anyways, I'm sorry. And he puts his hand out with his hand kind of closed.
Yeah. Like for a fist bump, right?
No, like he's holding something in his hand.
Oh, you're holding something. Okay, so he'll hold. He looks at you and he goes to as if he was gonna go say something, but then you say you're sorry, and he holds his hand out, and he'll wait for whatever it is, and then he'll talk.
Now he drops the thing in your hand and immediately turns and starts heading for the stairs. And when you look down in your hand, you see one of his black friendship bracelets that he has taken from his wrist.
Oh. Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
And you see that he immediately clenches it in his hand, and he doesn't say anything to you at first. The first thing he does is, like, you're facing away, going toward the stairs, so you just feel this soft bear hug of, like, behind you, probably around the middle of your waist.
Hey, like, it doesn't have to be all, like that or anything.
Sorry, I look, I was gonna come after you once we figured out what all of this mess was. I was gonna go back to the bookstore. I was gonna look at those ladies, and I was gonna yell at them, and I was gonna tell them if they don't get my friend out of the comic book, I was gonna start a mess of stuff, man. Go real Undertaker on them, like Ric Flair. Okay, I was gonna put them in figure 4 leg locks, and they was gonna be out.
All right, nature boy, calm down.
Sorry, I
He
just
kind of like pulls your hands kind of off of his waist. It's all right.
sorry, I just listen. I don't have. I know it's probably not the right time, but I don't have a brother. Never had one. All I got is sisters. So I don't know. As your first kid that I got a chance to really meet, I feel like we connected. So
look, like I don't know anything about brothers or anything like that. You know,
I'm not asking you.
Hugs and shit.
Okay, fine. I respect that.
But you know, you're all right. You're for a kid. You can take a punch.
You're
He kind of says uncomfortably.
You got a good right. You got a good right hook. Thanks. I guess good to know I don't have a glass jaw. He kind of slides the bracelet on his wrist. I was gonna get you that comic book.
It's you know, like I said, yeah, it's not even something I wanted. It's not a big deal. I'll maybe if I want to, I'll go back and get it later, maybe.
Yeah,
but
totally. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, but dude, you were the shredder. Oh, it was so cool. And I think that like they just there's that moment of friendship where like the tension goes away, and it's just the two of them walking side by side down the stairs, and he's just like retelling the story and like getting so excited about all the Ninja Turtles, and I just think it's great.
And as we get to the bottom of the stairs, who is it that is going to be first to accompany Heinz out the door?
If nobody else would be, probably Billy.
I'd probably be going, but I'd be behind Billy.
He looks back at all of you. He opens up the door. And as he swings the door open, he just kind of takes a quick look around. And you see him take a deep breath, and then he steps through the door out onto the beach. And he looks back at you all, and says, "Well, if you're coming, come." As you head out of the lighthouse and begin walking towards the beach, you can see that there is a small group of people that have pulled some of the debris up the beach a little further. They're starting to there's one gentleman who though it's a bit ragged, he seems to, his clothing looks like it may have once been a little bit finer than some of the others, and he is issuing orders to several of the others, but he's not just telling the others what to do. He's himself running into the receding waves and grabbing hold of crates and barrels, grabbing hold of pieces of canvas sail. He's in amongst these people, and you see that there looks to be about 8 or 9 men and women, sailors that are all working together to pull stuff up onto shore. You can see that the 2 pieces of the schooner are already sort of embedded partway in the sand, where the surf has churned up the sand and is starting to kind of grab hold of them and hold them in place. And Heinz is walking towards this group and yells out, "Hello there! Hello!" You see all of them turn and look, and the tall gentleman sort of stands and looks and kind of gives a very puzzled look. Everybody, stay here. I will go see what this is about. And I apologize, I have a terrible French accent. The gentleman walks forward. Hello. I am Captain Edouard Detroit. Who might you be? Hello. I am Heinz de Gauner. And there's this moment where these two gentlemen are standing there. And then the Captain, Edouard, looks at all of you. And, Monsieur de Gauner, these are your children. No. No. Not even a little bit.
Nope.
But it is a curious thing. But we were sailing along the coast. The storm, it picked up and we saw the light of the lighthouse. And we thought that it was a safe harbor, or at least warning us of the danger of the rocks. We did not expect to be taken into shallow water. Once the keel ran into the shallows, the waves, it was all over.
As soon as he says the keel ran into the shallows, I look over at Billy like, because I was mentioning about the ship running ashore and all that. Yep.
Did all of your crew survive? Yes, we are all accounted for. You are trying to salvage whatever cargo you can? Well, until we saw you, we thought we were going to have to make our best to survive here. Until we can figure out where we are. And make whatever we would have to do to trek north towards where, or rather south where we were headed. And I would like anybody who wants to make me a brains check. Wait, no, this is going to be a charm check.
Oh, God.
Because you are attempting to read somebody. This is not a perception check. You are trying to understand, and maybe some of you teenagers have a little more experience with this, where adults have a tendency to speak to one another, but they're almost saying more with what they're not saying.
I got a 7, and I'm going to use one of my personal adversity tokens to make it an 8.
Okay.
So my dice reacted very much in accordance with how Billy is set up. He's not really great at reading people. That's a 1.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a 2 again. Seems to be a popular number for Laz tonight.
Okay. So
Yay,
again, this
Shadow
is less of a pass fail, but more of a degree of success. And I'm actually going to turn that 1 and 2 or whatever, 3 or whatever you got, Laz. I'm going to turn those lone numbers into a revelation as well. Laz and Billy, you have absolutely no idea what these two adult men are talking about because you're not paying attention to them. As Rosie kind of looked at you like, when he talked about the keel running ashore, you realize, Billy, that in order for that furrow in the sand, which is about 100 yards away, to be caused by the ship running ashore, one, that would mean the ship should now be in the lake, the inland lake,
right,
not on the shore of Lake Michigan. And well, that's the primary thing. The other thing is you can now see where this big furrow in the ground is. There's where the darker sand and mud was churned up that you could see in the low light, but now as it's brighter, you can also see on the outer edges of it intermittent churning of the sand where it looks like something may have dug in to the sand and sort of tossed sand backwards a little bit. The rest of you don't really pick up on much of anything, but Coop, what you notice, Coop, is Captain Edouard de Troyes. The whole time he's talking about their supplies and everything, he's glancing around at the sailors under his command, and he keeps glancing back towards the broken ship. Like, there's more to it than just trying to gather up what supplies they can and survive. You get the sense that he's definitely hiding something. And with that 19, you also get the sense that Heinz de Goner has not picked up on this. I don't know if I typed this in already, so I'm going to do this now. De Troyes. And I think I typed Heinz's name in there earlier, so you have that. But anyway, with those revelations, is there anything you want to say or do? Or are you just going to observe that?
Nope. What is it? I think Coop might. No, Coop doesn't want to say anything about it. He doesn't want to draw attention to this.
The other thing, as these people, the other sailors are gathering around, Captain Edouard de Troyes says, and Coop, you're picking up on this, he is using the introduction of his crew as a distraction. As he points out some of the individuals, this is Guy, Nicolas, this is Sauvage, this big fellow here, and there is a very large black man. Like, this guy looks like he's close to 7 feet tall. This is Shakiri. He points to a couple of women. This is Christina, Ingrid. That angry-looking Irishman is Wade. That there is Nine-Fingered Norm. And this is Jovan. And I will give you those crew names later. Remind me of that.
Thank you.
And Heinz says, I would introduce you to the children here, but they are not mine. As he says this, Laz and Billy, as you are looking at where this furrow is and making this observation, not really paying attention to the introductions, I would like the two of you to roll a brains check. I'm doing two things with this brain check. This is a perception check on a couple levels. So tell me what your numbers are.
8.
3.
Okay. Billy, looking past this furrow, you can actually see just over the small mound of sand where this inland lake is, that extends for... this lake isn't very wide. Maybe at its widest, it's a couple 100 feet. But it's easily a half mile to 3/4 of a mile long. And in the post-storm morning, it's a fairly still lake, not affected by the waves. The sun is just getting to this height where it's starting to cause the mostly gray sky to reflect into that lake. And you suddenly see a ripple move across the lake as if something very large is going under the water, moving away further north. At the same time, Laz, your feet kicks into a piece of debris on the shore at your feet, and looking down, you see a big chunk of wood, mostly buried by the washed up beach sand. You can see part of the framing of the windows at the stern of the ship, and your kicking it disturbs it just enough that you can see engraved in wood the name of the ship, Evangeline.
Yes!
Yeah, oh my god.
And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
I fucking knew it.
It was pure. I couldn't not make the revelation then because it was you two in particular that had your attention over here. I'm like, I couldn't have planned that better.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
And for the audience, I will say this. I'm not going to get into everything about the Evangeline other than to say the Evangeline is a ship that is featured in several one-shots and campaigns and things that I do. It's something that just, it's a mainstay. It's a nexus point in the multiverse of MTD games. And at the very beginning of this session, when I described the shipwreck, Jeremy said in the side chat something about it being, if that's the Evangeline, I swear to God, Jacob.
Yep.
I almost named this episode The Wreck of the Evangeline, and I thought, nope, I don't want to give it away.
That was the right call.
But no, that is where we have where we are ending this session. We will be back next Thursday for another session as these kids just figure out where and when in the heck they are, why they're here, what is going on.
I want to get perfectly dry and then go home.
Hey, by now we need lunch.
Yeah.
We can't eat anything. We can't put anything in our stomachs.
You just drank the hot chocolate.
You just drank 1980s Coke.
I've never wanted to poop and then go home so bad.
Immediately.
The Swiss Miss is running through me. There's no running water or toilets.
Amazing.
What is wrong with that?
With that, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna raid. Just gotta get this name. There we go. So the person we're gonna raid is somebody I only once played a D&D game with in a one-shot. She mostly does like food-related blogging and videos. Jen De La Vegas. It says that her stream is One Piece Odyssey. I don't know if she's playing a game or watch. I know she's been watching One Piece, but we're gonna raid their channel in just a moment. So send all the love over there. Just a reminder, tune in on Monday nights for Scribes and Scrolls. Things are getting interesting over there. They are dealing with some hillbilly ogres right now. Thank you, Jeremy, for putting the schedule in there. There's everything you need to know. Follow to check out all those shows. And next month, tune in to Nerdarchy. We'll let you know when that's going to be, but tune into Nerdarchy, because it's a whole new game. It's a whole new GM, and I get to actually play in a game with Ted as a fellow player instead of as my game master or me game mastering. Ted, I don't think we've ever actually played in the same game together, have we?
We have. We were in a game with Jeremy.
Yes, that's right. We did do when Dawnbringers would do occasional one-shots.
Oh man!
But it's a rare occurrence indeed. And now we're gonna play a long-term campaign together, so that'll be fun.
Indeed.
And yeah, so I also want to take this opportunity to mention that if you haven't already, check out Erasmus Expeditions on YouTube, because Jeremy runs some amazing games. Many of us have played in Jeremy's games or watched Jeremy's games. I have spent a cumulative couple of years playing in games with Jeremy. And they've been some of the best gaming experiences I've ever had. And Jeremy often runs through our Discord. If somebody would throw the Discord link in the chat, Jeremy often puts up interest posts in there, people looking for games, and runs some really unique games, running not only his own existing systems or his own systems, but is also running in some friends systems. I think Aces High is the one you've been running some games in recently.
Aces Out, yeah.
Or Aces Out. But I can tell you this, as far to the best of my knowledge, there is no such thing as a bad Jeremy game. They've all been amazing experiences. And if you can find yourself at a table with any of these other amazing players, count yourself lucky. I'm lucky that this is the group of people that I get to play this game with, run this new campaign for. Thursday nights are an amazing time spent time traveling, not just to 1980, went to 1880.
Sorry, we're dropping frames.
So with that, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. Thank you to formerly known as Emily for rating us. Thank you to Smokebeard, who gifted a couple subs, and of course to Miko and Carrie for sharing their bits. Let me rephrase that for supporting the channel.
I'm happy to share my bits anytime.
We always appreciate it. Thank you to anybody who tuned in. And if you are somebody who likes to lurk,
welcome to MTD, everybody.
Right?
You just tuned in. This is us.
Hey, speaking of bits, I've got Schoolhouse Rock on my goodies.
But yeah, if you're like somebody who likes to lurk in the chat, we appreciate you all the same. If you're catching these on VOD over on YouTube, come on over Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/MTD, twitch.tv/mini terrain domain, and catch us live. But finally, before we raid over to JJ Leveg's channel, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of these amazing players and some of my closest friends. Thank you, Chad, Tamiko, Carrie, Ted, Jeremy, and though they weren't with us tonight, they were with us in spirit. Without whom this would just be me talking to myself for a couple of hours. With that, we are going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream. You can say it with me if you want.
Nibble on your tots.